What's going on YouTube? My name is Anna. Welcome back to another Battlefield 6 video. As we get closer to the start of weekend 2, I wanted to go over my thoughts and feelings on the game so far. To the best of my knowledge, they are not making any major gameplay changes going into week 2, but they are giving us one more map, a couple new modes, and maybe some new guns as well. So far in the beta, I've put in just under 35 hours, and despite some minor issues, I absolutely love this game. I'm beyond excited to get my hands on the full version in October, but for now, let's focus on the beta and do what we can as a community to improve Battlefield 6 before launch. I think the devs have done a wonderful job so far on Battlefield 6, and any criticism I have is simply for the love of the game. We're going to start this off with a pretty hot talking point going over Battlefield 6, and that's going to be the matchmaking. Right away, I can see this being a problem the same way it was in 2042. You play for several hours and you just get the same maps over and over and over again. Unfortunately, the traditional server browser we all know and love is dead. It will never return. All we have now is the Portal browser. The devs have mentioned on Twitter, the Portal server browser will incorporate regular DICE-approved servers along with community playlists, so in theory, it should work similar to the old school server browser, but I'll believe it when I see it. 2042 has ruined my faith in Portal, and I pray to the good Lord above that DICE doesn't make the same mistakes on Battlefield 6. Portal has so much untapped potential, it absolutely drove me crazy to see it wasted during 2042's life cycle. Moving over to the UI, I don't have any super in-depth details here, but I think it just needs to be cleaned up. Some of the menus seem repetitive, and I just feel like everything could be condensed. Going over to the anti-cheat, I'm sure many of you saw the viral clips of active cheats already in the beta. The good news is DICE is aware of this and can hopefully get ahead of these issues before the full game release. I saw somewhere that they had already banned over 300,000 accounts using cheats. So hopefully they can just stay ahead of this and it won't be a problem with the full release of the game. Coming off of Battlefield 2042, where 99% of my time I played Breakthrough, I found that Breakthrough in Battlefield 6, at least on the maps we had available, was not anywhere near as enjoyable. I had a couple rounds where I farmed really well, blah, 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 whatever, but consistency, the consistent Breakthrough experience was just not there for me. The map layouts, the out-of-bounds areas, potentially needing more tickets. I would like to see them play around with like the map layouts, maybe switch the layouts for Liberation Peak, and at the very least, the first sector for Liberation Peak, if they don't swap it, like we need more tickets, we need a better flank on the right-hand side of the map for offense. It's just, I don't even need to talk about the snipers. You guys have seen the memes about the sniping, but essentially the layouts, the tickets, the out-of-bounds areas, I think that just Breakthrough needs some overall work. And hey, it could have just been the 2 maps that I played. Maybe the other 6 maps in the game, Breakthrough is fantastic. I don't know. As of right now, Conquest, in my opinion, is the superior mode for Battlefield 6. Another big talking point for many players, including myself, is going to be hit reg. Additionally, under this category, I want to talk about crossplay, netcode, and the tick rate. Crossplay is here to stay with modern gaming, and that's fine with me. I love being able to play with anyone regardless of what system they play on. I did not play on controller, so y'all have to let me know how the aim assist feels. I'm actually very curious. Is it on the same level of COD, Apex? Is it weaker? Let me know some feedback. If you played on controller, I would really like to know. Also, good news, DICE is optimizing the game for 60 Hz tick rate. So the gunfights and movements should feel more responsive. The main issue I found with the game's netcode was just dying around corners. I'm not sure if this is like a crossplay PC issue, just general like server latency, ping. I'm not sure exactly what was going on here, but I did die around corners quite often, and I would like to see, I don't know exactly what they can do to fix this, but fix it. Another big talking point for Battlefield 6 has got to be visibility. I found it to be extremely difficult. I talked to many other players, and they seem to have similar regards in that aspect. Lighting in Battlefield 6 felt very inconsistent. Certain times the lighting is perfect and the game looks beautiful, while other times I can't see a guy standing 20 meters in front of me. There were instances of auto exposure where the game would get extremely bright or dark while transitioning in and out of buildings. I remember this issue specifically on the Cairo map. Additionally, just identifying enemy players can be challenging, and this is where the 3D spotting system comes into play. Extremely powerful system, especially for people that struggle with their eyesight. I find myself just looking for orange diamonds instead of actually looking for soldiers. I know it's easier said than done, but I hope they can make the lighting a bit more clear and potentially dial back the effectiveness of the spotting system. Let's go ahead and talk about gameplay balance. This is something that will not be ready on day one of release. This will be a constant battle adjusting vehicles, weapons, gadgets, and just try to make sure everything has a place. You have some things in the game that are potentially just so bad, so unusable that they never get used. You've got some things that are overpowered, they get used way more than everything else. So this weird kind of push and pull, yin and yang of gameplay balance is going to be very tricky. And it's not, like I said, it's not something that's going to be ready to go on day one. I think the vehicles are going to be a huge problem in this game, but stay tuned, let's find out. Additionally, I find that the double primaries just needs to go in general. The gunsling, I think is what it's called in the assault class. I feel like if they just remove that, this will potentially help with the shotgun issue that a lot of people have been having. I've seen everyone just complaining about the shotgun being OP, and the reality is it's impossible to balance a shotgun. It's either going to be overpowered or it's going to be useless. There's almost no middle ground there. And if they do find the middle ground, then someone give DICE EA a freaking reward, because shotguns are they're just hard. They're just hard to balance. I can't be mad at them for this, but I think the double primaries just need to go. It hasn't been a thing in previous games, and shotguns were still viable in other games. So I think just completely remove that, and potentially that will help with the shotgun issue. Speaking of the assault class, the fire grenade launcher is probably one of the most obnoxious gadgets they've ever introduced in any game. And that's coming off of 2042 with the SPH launcher. Essentially, you know, if you get hit with fire or whatever, like, sure, like that gadget could be in the game. The problem I have is if you get hit with this gadget, you are essentially stunned in place. You can't really move. And that is just game breaking to me. Like, it's already bad enough I'm on fire, I'm taking this damage over time, but now I can't even move, get to cover, or, you know, I'm just trying to stay alive in this aspect. So heavily needs to be nerfed, or at least looked at, the fire grenade launcher. I think it's in a really bad spot right now. The sniper sweet spot. I don't know why they brought this back, but just make it so that snipers one shot to the head and they do normal amounts of damage to the body. It should be a pretty simple fix in my opinion. Sniper sweet spot does not need to exist. The recon class already has a bunch of little bonus effects going on with the specialist traits, so let's just remove the sweet spot. Snipers feel overwhelming right now, especially on Liberation Peak when you got 16 looking at you. It's just not enjoyable to play against. The glint as well. I don't know what's going on with the glint. I don't mind there being sniper glint, but I mean, this man has a flashlight shining at me from 400 yards away. I mean, that's kind of what we're working with here. So let's kind of tune that down a little bit if possible. Now, the movement in Battlefield 6, for the most part, is spot on. I love the movement. It's grounded, no tack sprint, blah, blah, blah. A lot of great stuff going on. However, the reticle sway after jumping, falling, or even bumping into rubble on the ground. Your reticle, your soldier's like drunk when any of these things happen, and your reticle is just swaying all over the place like some kind of psychopath. And I understand why this is in the game as far as like the jumping and like the reticle sway. Like, they don't want people just like abusing jumping, and like I get it. I get it. You don't want COD players ruining the game, blah, 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 whatever. But the penalty for this is, I think, a bit extreme. If you don't want to remove it after the jumping, fine. But the fall reticle sway is ridiculous, and then bumping into rubble. I think this is a bug. I think I saw Drunksy talking about this on Twitter. Potentially, they have that fixed. But yeah, let's just maybe take another look at the reticle sway, potentially tone it down. I just find it a bit obnoxious. I found the stim on the assault class to feel absolutely useless. I think you should replace it with some kind of scavenger perk to resupply ammo on dead bodies, or like substitute that in with like one of the assault passive traits or something, like on the skill tree. Assault has no reserve ammo, and even if you drop the shotgun and you run two launchers, you're still just running low on ammo all the time. And you're like, well, Zena, go pick up ammo off your teammate. My teammates are nowhere to be found. They're sitting in the spawn. They're AFK. They're not playing the game. I need ammo. So yeah, assault class, I don't know. It's just, you have the overpowered grenade launchers. You have the passive healing when you get to, I think, level 2 on the trait, the level ups. So like the passive healing is nice, but I don't know. The stim to me just didn't really do it. I think it needs to be looked at. Now, most of you know I'm not a vehicle main. I focus a lot of my gameplay on infantry. However, I do enjoy playing vehicles and, learning and trying to improve. I didn't play a ton in vehicles, but I got a couple, a couple tries in the helicopter, the tanks, the jeeps, whatever. I think the general physics just need adjustment. And this is something that players complained about during labs, but apparently no changes have been made. I'm saying DICE needs to just call in the vehicle experts. You got a ton of them out there. We got Gravity, Hebe, Silk, Prolosco, Flex Lanes, Ash, Anek. There's a ton of guys out there that are above and beyond skilled vehicle players. Just reach out to them. Incorporate their assistance because they know exactly what the game needs to be dialed in vehicle-wise. I'm definitely worried about the current state of vehicles, and even when the game launches, I feel like vehicles are going to be a problem. LMGs in Battlefield 6 need more spread. They are just laser beams. I feel like I'm having deja vu from 2042 because we had this exact same issue at launch. We had 200 round ARs essentially, laser beaming people out to 200 meters with absolutely no problem. And I'm not saying it's as extreme in Battlefield 6 because it's certainly not, but I think LMGs could potentially be looked at however you want to do that, DICE. Additionally, SMGs get outgunned by ARs and carbines, so they almost feel pointless to use them. Now, I will say this is extremely nitpicky because later on during the beta, I managed to farm really well with the first SMG. I think it's called the SGX. I got a few more attachments, and I was able to kind of dial in the weapon a little bit more. So this may be a case of just like the weapons are very attachment dependent. They are just not good, unusable level 1. But once you get a couple attachments on there, you get an extended mag, you get a barrel, a muzzle, a grip, whatever. The weapons wake up, they feel a lot more live, a lot more usable. So that could have been what I was experiencing early on, but the SMGs, they just felt really weak to me, and I had a hard time choosing them over ARs or carbines. The ultimate class ability to me almost just seems like a gimmick, and I'm kind of on the fence of just like remove it entirely. I like the passive traits where you don't have to like think about it. You just like play the game, and like each round you kind of like level up your engineer class or your support class. You get to a point and you have like these passive effects that kind of help you out on the battle. Like that's cool, whatever. But the ultimates just, they felt kind of cheesy to me. I don't know if anyone else feels that way, but like I played a ton of rounds and just, I never even used them. I kind of forgot about them. And this is good because they're not game breaking, right? Like you had the recon player calling in a UAV, like whatever. Like the assault class has wall hacks, engineer has bonus healing with this repair tool, whatever. I don't know. It almost just seems pointless to me, but I would love to know your thoughts on the class ultimate abilities. Speaking of the class system, yes, it works, but support once again feels like one-man army with unlimited ammo and heals. I guess DICE just did not learn their lesson with 2042. Yes, the class system has more structure this time around, but it is still a mess compared to games like Battlefield 1. To me, as an infantry main, there is literally zero reason to play any other class besides support. Unlimited ammo, heals, plus I can revive my team and combine this with the open class weapons, and it's just the ultimate infantry class. I'm sure there are in-depth ways to define the classes better, but to simplify everything, I say just separate the ammo and the heals into separate classes. That's how it was in other games, and it added variety to gameplay, along with the occasional instance of team play. Smoke grenades to me need to be a little bit more dense. They seem to be very inconsistent at times. I throw smoke to revive a squad, and I just feel like people can still see me through the smoke. So I'm not sure exactly what adjustments they can do there, but just felt like they need to be potentially a little bit more dense. The deployable shield, to me, needs to be able to be one shot with a rocket. I don't have any specifics of this one. It just makes sense in my head. At least you can mow it down with like a mag or two with your AR, so like that's nice. Also, deploying the shield can be a bit of a challenge. There was an instance on Liberation Peak where I couldn't place it on normal terrain, but I could place it on a jagged rock. It made absolutely no sense. The RPG. I would love it if we could toggle the scope on or off. It seems like a simple enough like change to be able to remove the scope. So hopefully they can do something with that. Also, I can't customize weapons in a game. I don't want people doing full weapon builds like in the middle of the match, but I should be at least be able to like swap out a scope, maybe a mag, or change ammo types. So hopefully they can look into that. I love being able to climb and mantle almost any object in the game. However, this creates issues where players access places they should not be, on top of buildings, or the ever so famous mountain goat snipers on Liberation Peak. I'm sure some of y'all saw the Cairo map where people were getting on top of the buildings, kind of like almost basically out of the map, essentially, because you're just not supposed to be there. I love, like I said, I love being able to just climb objects and like move around in the game how I want. But there obviously has to be a limit to this. Either set better out of bounds areas or just make those places inaccessible. My last little nitpicky complaint revolves around progression. Now, I know this was just a beta. I haven't played the full game, so this entire point could be mute. But once I get all the attachments, weapons unlocked, then what? What do I have to work towards? Why am I logging on the game to play? Bring back service stars or some other attributes that I can showcase to my friends or other random players. I want to be rewarded for the thousands of hours that I play the game. And no, DICE, I don't want a red skin. Okay, now that I've gotten all of my complaining and nitpicking out of the way, let's talk about the awesome things that Battlefield 6 did right. I know the game is new, but I just can't stop thinking about playing. Probably the best thing about Battlefield 6 is that it's fun to play. Holy moly, I have missed actually enjoying my time on a combined arms shooter game. It's been years of suffering, but Battlefield 6 is here to save us, potentially. Several of my best friends growing up who don't play Battlefield were squatting up with me during the beta, having a damn good time. At the end of the day, this fun factor will keep players coming back more than any battle pass or daily challenges ever could. Good job, DICE. Just don't lose that fun factor. The game audio in Battlefield 6 absolutely blew me away. Minus some inconsistent footstep sounds, which, let's be honest, most games struggle with this, so I kind of just expected this ahead of time. I will say though, when you're moving in a less chaotic area, you can hear footsteps pretty well. The issue is, when you add in the rest of the battle, footsteps get lost. It's not the end of the world, it's just something that they could hopefully work on. Now, going back to the general game audio, it is absolutely awesome. Weapons, vehicles, music, and the infantry all coming together like a lovely symphony. The first time I played on Liberation Peak, the jets flying over, it just felt so badass. The audio definitely immersed me within the first 30 seconds, more than 2042 did in 3,000 hours. Weapons feel rewarding and satisfying to use. The headshot sound specifically is fucking incredible. I just hope that they have a nice long list of weapons for us at launch. I don't want to have to like use the same guns over and over again, but so far they're killing it with the weapon and audio design. The hipfire in the game is insane. Easily one of the best ways to engage within 10 meters. It is just, even with an LMG with like no laser, like the hipfire is just freaking nuts. So yeah, make sure you guys utilize hipfire. The creative class is awesome. I need a little bit more details for the attachments, but I'm going lenient here. This is the beta. You know, this isn't the full system here, but the creative class system seems cool. You can kind of, and it's, the way that they did it with the point system, it seems really cool to balance too, because you can have like a really overpowered attachment, but they're going to make it so that it costs a ton of points. You can't stack up like a fully built weapon. You have to pick and choose. You know, do you want a bunch of like weak attachments, or do you want like 2 or 3 really strong attachments? So this is a cool system. Good job, DICE. Medic dragging has to be one of the best upgrades to a Battlefield game I've ever seen. Being able to pull your downed allies out of that busy doorway or the heat of battle, pull them off to the side, get them back up in a safe spot. I mean, it's genius. It's genius. And they actually implemented it really well. It's not like buggy or like, it's not clunky. It actually is like smooth and it feels good. Sometimes it can be a little clunky if like, if you're like pulling someone and like you have your back the wrong direction, you kind of have to like spin around like 180 degrees. But that's like a nitpicky thing that like, well, as players, we can figure out how to do it better over time. But the medic dragging is such a huge W for the game. I absolutely love this change. I was a little worried going into the beta about Battlefield 6's movement. I was afraid that they were going to turn the game into a milsim, slow it down way too much. But honestly, I think the movement's perfect. It's grounded, no tack sprint. I feel like I can still move, get around the map quickly and do what I need to do. I can pull my knife out, run faster if I need to, or my defibs, or even the repair tool. Like, you have all these different methods to move quicker. And you have the slide mechanic too. So like, everything just seems to flow really nicely. It doesn't feel, you have people complaining like there's like COD movement and blah, 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 whatever. But like, the movement is good. It is really good. It's fast enough, but it doesn't break the immersion. So I think they really nailed the movement. Even the little combat roll when you jump off a building or something, like, it's not a huge game breaking change, but it's just, it adds to the immersion. It's a cool little effect. I don't mind it. So yeah, I think they did a great job with the movement. Good job, DICE. Battlefield 6 has done a great job with the gameplay loop. Helis crash when you zook them. It's not just like they blow up in the air. Buildings are destroyed. Like, I saw a video of like a tank being blown up. The top part of the cannon part of the tank flew in the air, crashed onto a building, and basically destroyed the entire building as it hit. So like, there's all these little details and immersive effects that are awesome, and yet somehow they're not game breaking, or at least they haven't affected me in any negative way. So somehow they managed to make the game immersive and not affect gameplay, so props to them. First person takedowns are back. I don't know why this ever went away, but being able just to rip someone's dog tags off, stab them in the chest, it's fucking awesome. I'm so glad this is back. Conquest feels like a return to form. I know I was kind of complaining about Breakthrough earlier in the video, but I think they nailed it with Conquest. And a big part of that, in my opinion, comes down to the maps. They have way more depth, way more character. It's not just a barren wasteland with objectives. I'm not running 300 meters to get to one objective. On my way there, I die to a fucking helicopter flying over. Like, sure, that's still going to happen in Battlefield 6, but there's more cover, there's more depth to the gameplay, and Conquest, in my opinion, just feels absolutely solid. I remember back in the day, all I played was Conquest. I didn't play any other modes. I love the large-scale battles. I love the vehicles. Everything kind of coming together into one big battle. It's awesome. And this game brought me back to that aspect, because 2042, I couldn't stand playing Conquest in that game. It was the worst Conquest experience of any other game. Destruction in Battlefield 6 feels awesome. Certain aspects even feel like the finals, and that game has the best destruction of any game I've ever played. You can blow open walls to expose the enemy, but you can't destroy every aspect of the map. So the map is still playable and readable, even though you've blown up half of it, right? There's certain things that you cannot blow up because it would disrupt the map flow. So they did a good job kind of figuring out what needs to be, what can you blow up and what can you not. So they did a really good job kind of figuring that out, and it doesn't ruin the map flow, so good job. But basically, some of the rubble piles, you can actually, like, once you, like, if it's a two-story building, you can blow up the rubble and, like, it'll kind of pile up. And you can use the rubble pile to access the second floor. So, like, it's usable destruction. I don't know how else to phrase it, but yeah, I'm really excited to see how they implement some of this on the other maps that we have not played. And also, are we going to have a Levolution event? All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to wrap it up for me today. Thank you so much for watching the video. I really hope you enjoyed me going over my thoughts and opinions on the Battlefield 6 beta. Had a ton of fun playing this game. I'm looking forward to hopping back on for weekend 2. I will be live streaming twitch.tv/ZenaFPS if you guys are curious in live gameplay. And you come hang out with us, and we got a great community here on Twitch. Also, if you are enjoying the videos on YouTube, we are super close to 7,000 subs. If you're feeling generous, hit that sub button, hit the like button, help the algorithm boost it out to new people. But let me know your thoughts, opinions. Let me know your feedback on the Battlefield 6 open beta. I want to have a full-on conversations with y'all in the comments section talking about this game. Super excited for the future, for this journey we're about to go on. But yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for the incredible support. I will see you in the next video.